First year seminar. All of us have experienced it, and all of us have heard the discussion. First year seminar class is often described as boring, pointless, and needlessly expensive. Educational psychologists have conducted extensive research on a class plagued by misconceptions and stigma. The general finding is that their completion does correlate to both academic outcomes, such as GPA, retention, persistence, etc., as well as certain psychological outcomes researchers care about, like self-efficacy. So that proposes a question. Why do we find the class so easy to skip, regardless of the academic consequences? When you hear upperclassmen describe it as an absolute waste of time, we are often primed to take a negative perspective on the matter. Priming is the idea that exposure to one stimulus may influence a response to a subsequent stimulus, usually subconsciously. Simply overhearing two people talking bad about a subject can prime you to have the same negative thoughts. I'll admit that I actually enjoyed my first year seminar class. I enjoyed learning about different resources that I would have never have known otherwise, but at the time, once I heard everyone around me complaining about how annoying it was, I seemed predisposed to accept that reality, a story that many people can relate to. So once again, we return to our original question. Although it is clear that the class is beneficial, and our negative beliefs about the class are just simply fabricated, how do we make students enjoy the class again? By changing the norm. I propose a gamification of the first year seminar classroom. More specifically, I propose a new curriculum based on creativity and autonomy. These are two incredibly important developmental areas that have seemingly gone stagnant in college. Self-regulation requires willpower, and as we work, our concentration tanks. Creative outlets have been known to counteract this. We as students are used to following directions. We're hardly intrinsically motivated anymore. We simply do what has to be done, forgetting even why we started. There was no reason to express ourselves beyond just the bare minimum, and so we fall into a cycle of repetition. Creativity enables people to solve problems in new or innovative ways, and therefore colleges should strive to create more opportunities for students to explore their creativity, to foster their growth and development. The very first step of such could be implemented into the first year seminar curriculum. As for autonomy, while some students have gained independence by attending college, we have lost freedom by due dates, assignments, schedules, and required classes. If we bring back that sense of autonomy, students may feel more in control of their lives, more motivated, and ready to absorb more information. Now that we have laid down some goals of the gamification plan, let's discuss what it would look like in a curriculum. I will first propose a few changes, beginning with assignment adjustments. Then we can discuss psychological reactants. So how would our newly suggested themes play into a typical class? Assignments will be based on comprehension and a deeper understanding rather than memorization and simply regurgitating facts. Based on the common fact that college students are still quite immature, or young at heart, I decided to entertain this idea and reinvent an elementary task that has been keeping young adolescents engaged for years. Tic-tac-toe, also known as think-tac-toe, is a strategy that uses a grid of tic-tac-toe board to organize learning activities. Instructors can insert different activities into each square, and students can choose 3 activities to create 3 in a row. The instructor can then design each row to support the study unit's purpose. Shown here is something that I made in under 10 minutes just to demonstrate how it would be applied for our Psych 434 weekly reading assignments. It ties in all of the requirements of Bloom's taxonomy, and yet it still allows for the student to mix things up, fulfill autonomy, and create something different each time. Perhaps there could be a token reward for following a weekly pattern and achieving more. That said, there could be a simple 5-box requirement with any connecting line. The possibilities are truly endless. I strongly believe that students can be motivated simply based on the presentation of the assignment. This tool has the potential to create an engaging and refreshing experience for students. The assignment should be designed to be creative and flexible, yet still provide adequate structure and guidance to the student. Moving on, in psychology, psychological reactance is an unpleasant motivational reaction to offers, persons, rules, or regulations that threaten or eliminate specific behavioral freedoms. I think that we could use this phenomenon to our advantage, and it would also answer the question of how the typically suggested items, badges, or tokens would play. This is by far the most drastic change, but yet would truly only be minimal work for the instructor. By seeing the risks associated with skipping class, students would hopefully be motivated to stay and not lose out on the opportunity to acquire the item cards. I propose an item or card system that could fulfill autonomy and allow for students a more casual transitional period from high school to college. The cards could be as simple as printing them out and handing them out randomly based on a few factors such as participation, exceeding expectations, and instructor discretion. This would also promote class attendance based on the fact that the only way to obtain item cards is in class. Here are just a few examples I quickly made in under 15 minutes. Most of these will be pretty simple to handle as it's nothing time consuming like a day extension where you'd be stuck waiting to grade it. A first year seminar class is an important time for students to connect with professors they will be interacting with for the next 4 years. With low stakes projects and fun inventive elements, the classroom can foster a low pressure, high energy environment to interact with your professors as people. There's plenty more time to develop professionally. Lastly, on the topic of the item cards is the idea of constructive competition. Constructive competition occurs when competition is a fun experience and is structured in ways to achieve and grow positive interpersonal relationships. Perhaps by implementing group projects, not only will new freshmen be introduced to one another and build important connections, but they will also engage in a friendly competition to obtain a card. You could choose not to participate. The topics discussed in this proposal would not affect anyone who is not interested in change. At the end of the day, the content is still the same and the layout is still the same. I think beginning with smaller changes could be beneficial to see how students react immediately. I think that not only is it important to not burn out students, but also to keep the class simple. In conclusion, a reimagined first-year seminar curriculum that prioritizes creativity and autonomy could enhance student engagement and enjoyment. A gamified approach with a focus on tic-tac-toe style assignments and item cards could provide a refreshing and motivating learning experience while still meeting educational objectives.